Welcome to the BTEC Sport Level 3 transition activities for the academic year of 2021-22. Background to information to the BTEC Sport, we do the extended certificate level 3, so you'll do 4 units over the 2 years. The setup and the assessment of these units is you complete 2 externally assessed mandatory units, 1 mandatory and 1 optional unit that are assessed by your class teacher. Unit 3, which is the mandatory unit that will be assessed by Ms Dunn, is then sent off and standard verified by BTEC to ensure our marking and grades at the end are accurate. You'll complete 2 units in year 12 and then a further 2 units in year 13. We tend to do unit 1 and unit 3 in year 12 and then unit 2 and unit 5 in year 13. Due to the recent pandemic, unit 5 hasn't run as it's been reduced because of lost time and loss in learning, but we envisage that with no problems that from September we will be back up to a normal course of 4 units over 2 years. Unit 1 is a written examination, set and marked by peers, and it lasts for 1.5 hours and is a total of 90 marks. You can score a near pass, merit, distinction on that. Probably the hardest out of the 4 units that we do. So as I said, we tend to teach it during year 12. You'll sit the first paper at the end of year 12, and then you have a further 2 resit options, which we can take in year 13 at January and again in May, June time of that last year. Unit 2 is a task is set and marked by Pearson and completed under supervised conditions. You get part A, where you are provided with a case study 2 weeks before the controlled assessment, and you get to carry out research during that time. You get to take in some of your notes into review to the exam to help you complete part B. Part B is a supervised assessment period of 2 hours over a period of 2 days, timetabled by Pearson, and it's a written submission worth 60 marks. Finally, Unit 3 and Unit 5 require you to complete 2 or 3 summative assessments which are internally marked by the teacher. So Ms Dunn tends to do both of these units. And then some will be externally verified by a moderator to check the work and marking meets requirements. Certainly Unit 3, because it's a mandatory unit, is normally the one that is sent off, but in some circumstances we have had to send Unit 5 as well. So Unit 1, Anatomy and Physiology. What you need to do for this section is focus on the skeletal system. So Unit 1 is broken down into 5 energy systems: skeletal, muscular, cardiovascular, respiratory and energy systems. The first one we look at is the skeletal system. So you need to complete the questions below. Use the internet to support you. You obviously try and have a go first with your own knowledge of understanding from maybe you've done science, obviously in Key Stage 4, or you've maybe done PE and covered part of the bones in lessons. So have a go first at what you know, and then obviously use the internet to research the last ones. All you need to do is label the skeletal picture with the bones that are listed there. So you've got obviously cranium, clavicle, ribs, sternum, scapula, humerus, radius, ulna, carpals, metacarpals, phalanges, pelvis, vertebral column, which is broken down into 5 parts: your femur, patella, tibia, fibula, tarsals and metatarsals. For all the vertebral column, can you please list the 5 that you see? So the cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacrum and the coccyx. Don't just list it as the vertebral column, because you will need to know that information potentially for your exam. Next question is, you have the vertebral column in front of you, so you're then going to label the 5 parts of the column. So this will be a case of just taking information you've done in question 1 and repeating it here. Question 3 is identify the main functions of the skeletal system and how it supports the body in sport. Use an example relating to a sport to support your answers. It's imperative that you use examples. A lot of the questions used in the exam link to sport and examples, and the larger 6, 8 and 10 mark questions and maybe a 12 mark question do ask you to link to sport and examples. So by starting the process now, it will help you in preparation for those questions. So you are looking to identify the main functions of the skeletal system and how each of those functions impacts on sport. So if I give you one as an example, protection. So skeletal system protects vital organs. Why is it important in sports such as rugby? Well, rugby is a contact sport, so you're tackling your opponent. If you didn't have the skeletal system there to offer protection, then you're potentially going to damage your vital organs. So it offers protection in contact sports. Question 4. There are 5 types of bone. Can you complete the table below with the correct information? So I've given you the 5 types of bone already. You need to get an image of the bone. So you can either draw this in, or you can take a cut image or copy an image from the internet and put it into there. What's the key characteristics? So what I mean by that is, what does it look like? What's its appearance? What's the main function it does? And then again, finally, how it supports sport and an example. So if I give you an example for long bone, long bones, as it said, tend to be long and thin. An example would be the humerus, and how it helps in sport tends to be a lot of movement. So it enables you to perform a certain type of function or certain type of sporting movement in that activity. Question 5, what is the appendicular skeleton and the axial skeleton? Give an example of a bone found in each different area. So all this is basically, the skeleton is split into 2 parts. It either comes under the axial or the appendicular, and then you need to come up with an example, couple of bones for each one. An image might be good, okay, if you want to get an image where it highlights the different bones or different areas in a certain colour, that would be really good, and again will support you in year 12. Additional transition tasks. So each task that is set out in the grid, each task is worth 20 points. Okay, you're expected to complete a minimum of 5 tasks. So if you complete all 5 tasks, you get 100 points. All right. It would be brilliant if you could have a go at all of the tasks, okay, but I understand time and what you've got on with other subjects. But if you manage yourself effectively, which is an important part of sixth form life, then you'll probably be able to get it done. These will support you in terms of the course that we're doing, but they will also give you ideas about sporting careers, you know, podcasts and information that you can find about sport that you might find interesting and you might use later on, especially if you're thinking of following a career in sport. How do you prove that you completed the task? All right, so you're going to complete the written log, okay, and obviously complete 5 of these logs, and then this will provide the evidence to your teacher, so to me and Miss Dunn, so we can see that. So there's your tasks. So some of these are courses, so have a look and complete these. They're not long courses, they're sort of short courses that you access online, and it will give you sort of something to put as your certificate and support you when you're applying to university, and talk about things that you've done. You've got podcasts, you've got television stuff, you've got articles to read, okay? As I said, all of these are based around sport, okay? Some do relate to the course that you're doing, some don't, but the idea is it gives you a bit of an understanding of sport and different areas and different topics. This is the log that you need to complete. You put the area that you're focusing on. So if you picked, for example, the course from the university, you'd put that in there. What 3 things have you learned from taking that task or completing that resource or reading that resource? And as a result, how will it help you? So will it help you in the course in sixth form, or will you potentially use it to help you in applications for university via UCAS or apprenticeships, potentially longer than that? If you are going to carry on a career in sport, you could use it to support that. In terms of evidence, it might be a screenshot of your course that you completed or a certificate. It might be the article that you've downloaded or you've read. You might make notes on it, you might highlight it, okay? You might watch the video or listen to a podcast and again made some written notes. You might produce a PowerPoint that talks about the podcast or the videos that you've watched, and obviously when you complete the log and you send it to me, you can attach the evidence to support you on there. Hopefully the transition task will help. It's vital that you complete these, okay? Can't stress how important it is that you complete the tasks before we come back in September, especially the skeletal system, because that's where we will start on, and it's really good if you've got some prior knowledge already and understanding that will help us in terms of leading into our teaching. So please complete that. Have a go at the completion logs and the tasks that you do. Do 5. If you can do more than 5, great. Evidence it, write how it's going to support you or what you've learned from it and potentially how you could use it. I hope you have a really good summer. Look after yourself, stay safe, and we'll look forward to seeing you back in September, hopefully with no social distancing, no masks and no bubbles, and we'll be able to access the full course that BTEC offer you. Many thanks and have a great summer. Bye.